Good day, guys. Once again, we are here on Sports with Echo, and we are currently here with a journalist. I mean, a sports journalist. You can get to know more about him when he starts speaking. So, hello. What's your name, please?
My name is Bortey. I'm with Joy Sports. As you said earlier, I'm a journalist, and I enjoy using a lot of data stuff.
Yeah.
To cover sports.
Yeah, data analytics. One thing I actually want to learn from him. So, I mean, yesterday was such a bad news for Ghanaians about leaving the World Cup at an early stage. Obviously, we expected much. What would you say about we not qualifying for the next round?
I think Ghana suffered a defeat that many did not expect or see coming. If you look at Ghana's performance against South Korea, there was a lot that we could take away in terms of our homework and saying that we did what was needed in terms of getting at least a point or 3 points that could put us in a position to progress should we take our next game. So for Ghana losing that game against Uruguay, understanding the magnitude of that game where we already have history with the Uruguayans, you would not expect Ghana to crash out of the tournament in such a manner. And it's even more painful knowing that the same person that caused us a lot of pain some 12 years ago got 2 assists, basically setting up the 2 goals, which basically took us and them as well out of the competition. So for me, Ghana crashing out, painful. Yesterday I was out of words, basically. I couldn't do anything. Even this morning, trying to do research, it was even more painful because you get to see what really went wrong. Yeah. And there was a lot that went wrong. And so for me, not a good game.
All right. So what do you think about the coach's words this morning?
I think he's basically explained what everyone saw coming. And it's even more telling that he's also inexperienced. And so he was basically not getting what he wanted. If it was someone that was a bit experienced, had a bit of status to life and coaching, probably more respect and more command to how the person would handle that role. So you can clearly tell that there was a lot of inexperience coming from our coach, and it's telling that we have a long way to go.
Alright, so currently we can realize that we have a lot of young players in our squad. What do you think about these young guys?
I think it's good. If you look at the average ages of starting 11s, Ghana is amongst those teams who have had those kind of low ages. And looking at the fight, the zeal, the will that we have, it's even more commendable because you can even see that in the future there's more to come. You look at the likes of Kamal Dean, Kudus, who are from Right to Dream, Fatal Isahaku, Dreams, Young,
even Kamal Soa,
another. Even in terms of defense, you could look at Salisu.
Yeah, top guy.
Top 10% defender in Europe's top 5 leagues.
Of course.
And even Tyreek Lamptey is there as well.
Yeah.
Experience, quality, and also young. It's telling that Ghana has good prospects out there, and the future is brighter than what most of us expected. Coming into this tournament, even before the qualification match against Nigeria, Ghana was amongst the worst African nations.
Yeah.
Even the AFCON we played in, we had a disastrous tournament.
Yeah.
And it was telling that we had nowhere to go at that time. So having these young players come in, prove a point, and show that we definitely have something to come, I think, look, the sky's the limit.
You know, having these guys is not just the end of it, because I feel like if you don't get the right coaching for guys like this, you wouldn't get the best out of them. And I know this year you can say they have a lot of hunger to win. You know, we can talk about these players going into the next African Cup, into the next World Cup, and even becoming better. But what sort of coaching would you like to see for this guy, and who would you like to lead the Black Stars going into the next African Cup and also the next World Cup to come?
You tried to catch me off guard there, but if you ask me coaching, I can mention Luis Enrique for you.
No, I mean, we know what we can guess.
But in terms of what we have, I think we are more potent in attack now, because I don't remember the last time Ghana was averaging more than 2 goals in a game.
Yeah.
At any given competition. We've all been on the one goal project life for like since when I've known Ghana has been excelling on the continental and international stage. So for us having such a young core, a lot of attacking powers and Kudus and like Semenyo, even Inaki, who has been under criticism, I think his quality up front. Coaching, that's a difficult question, because I don't see who the moment who's free.
I mean, we have Chris Hilton. He was supposed to take up the team after.
For me, there's more than we can use. To be honest, Ghana needs a coach that understands attacking.
Yeah.
That alone is enough for me. Yeah. If the coach understands how to use attackers and make them the weapon of the team, I prefer that. Even with the likes of Renard, who coaches Saudi Arabia. Yes, he may not be flamboyant as an attacking coach, but he knows how to get
the results
exactly out of what he has.
Yeah.
He may not be the perfect man for me, but I think he would definitely do the job for us. And I've said earlier, Luis Enrique. I really, really admire him.
He's one coach who is typically known for using youngsters. So obviously, he'll be an easy pick when it comes to grooming young talents, to getting something best out of them. But he's definitely out of reach for Ghana.
Well, yeah, for you.
No,
but for me, I think
you can't buy him out of his clothes.
Yeah, right now, out of Spain. Yeah. In fact, on the international stage, it's very difficult to get any coach at the moment.
Of course.
So we may have to stick with Chris Hilton for now.
All right. So what do you think about the Ayew brothers? Yesterday, Andre Ayew missed a penalty. Do you think he's going to go out of the team now and then let the guys grow, or do you think both of them are going to leave? And then again, what do you think about their involvement in the Black Stars from now?
It's a very, very difficult question. The Ayew brothers are one subject that are very difficult to touch on, because they also have their pluses despite their minuses. What I really appreciate from them is, no matter what, they're still willing to play for the national team. That's one thing that's key. We've had people in the past who have played 1, 2, 3 games, being hit by the Ghanaian criticism or the 32 million coaches, and they don't want to come again.
Yeah.
That alone for me says a lot about them. But on the other side, I think as much as I want to say thank you very much, but it's time to go, I think there's still more in them in terms of what they can offer. And that is if they are willing to reduce their role in the squad. No longer see themselves as
regular starters.
Exactly. But they would rather give a lot of leadership, be the men behind the boys.
Yeah.
And be the men with the boys.
Yeah.
To lead them. And I think that alone will be enough for me. Because I think coming off the bench, Jordan, you having such a player coming off your bench is enough, is good, is excellent. Did they same? But would they be willing to come off the bench for the limited minutes that they will get? Yeah. That is the question. So for me, that is all I have to say about them. But I think, as things stand at the moment, they are not at the level to which Ghana would want them to be.
All right. So, what do you think about the GFA's constant inclusion in every single tournament of the Black Stars and influence in the Black Stars collapse, formation, and I mean, it goes deep down there. I mean, not everyone would be willing to talk about stuff like this, but what do you think about their constant inclusion in the day-to-day activities of the Black Stars?
I think for now, what I can say is I don't have much evidence to say they involve themselves in formation picking of players. I don't have proof of that.
But we all know they have to be kept informed about player collapse.
I mean, the GFA president said in one of his press conferences that there was no way, basically, any coach anywhere does not get some form of influence or communication from the directorates of their football associations. But as I said earlier, I do not have proof to what extent they do that. But I think it's something that doesn't really help. Being independent is easy to
succeed.
Not succeed. Being independent actually makes it less easier for you to be. Do I say? So basically, this is what I want to say. When you have less influence from people, you are able to think more.
Yeah.
And do what you think is best for you.
Right. Yeah.
So if it goes well, we all know who is coming from. If it doesn't go well, But being under influence, especially when you're in one where you're not too happy about, there's one where you can be happy about.
Yeah.
When you're not too happy about a certain level of influence coming from people that are external, you do not feel comfortable, and sometimes that causes a bit of chaos within teams. And so for me, it's something that is disturbing. If to what extent, if it's something that's really deep and is concerning the coaches, for me it will be problematic. And as we can see, people have said so, and many believe that even with our World Cup squad, there was a bit of influence. Yeah, if that is the case, then you can clearly tell that it is a problem.
All right. So, what do you think about, Siko Akono said something prior to the World Cup about his problems with the GFA and all that. Thinking about that now and about our current form, or we going out of the World Cup, what would you have to say is the link between what he said and what's happening now?
The link.
I mean, there might not be any direct link, but you can obviously take certain things out of his words.
I mean, this is like a sub question under what I asked. So basically, as I said, I really do not know to what extent, but if the clear link would be that a lot of people have not stood their grounds. For me, that is the telling part, because if what Otto said and what CK said and maybe what other coaches have said are true, then it says we have a long way to go.
Right. Do you think we took our best squad to the World Cup?
Yes.
Joseph Pencil?
That is 1 out of 1,000. Alright,
so there's this thing about this particular World Cup where informed players at their club side obviously have made a difference in the current World Cup.
Agreed.
It's clear. We knew, a lot of sports personalities spoke about it, and you have someone like Joseph Pencil not being included.
I think I made the point about Ghana's attacking prowess at the start of this whole conversation. That I remember the last time Ghana scored 2+ goals in the tournament, or averaged more than 2 goals in the tournament.
Alright, so who do you think stands the chance of winning the World Cup?
This year, I think it's one for the South Americans, so I'm tipping more of Brazil. I think Brazil have the squad, their quality all around, even from the goalkeeping department, to the bench, to the reserves. Every single person on that team is good enough. And you look at the coach, Tite, he's excellent. He knows what he's about. He's built a team with chemistry, with Neymar leading the front, that's even more excellent, and Thiago leading the back. That team is quality. So for me, I think they would go all the way to the final. And I don't see any team being bigger or better than Brazil in terms of what they have. Even with the injuries to France, I still think they were not at the level of Brazil. So for me, it's worth saying that Brazil will definitely win the World Cup.
Alright, so thank you, Joel, for being on today's episode of Sports with a Call. And I think you guys loved today's video. Make sure you do subscribe, share, and like this video, and also recommend for your friends as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. Bye, guys.